Well, let's get going. Yeah, so I'm just gonna have a look at Bitcoin here. Plan from last week is the same. Your bearish case scenario in this case is that you have formed a 1, 2, 3 Elliott waves. You're looking at this as an ABC flat on the higher time frame of this entire range that we had here on the upper side. Took out the highs. You're looking for us to take out the lows of A, sweep those lows maybe into that 85k area, and then sort of start popping up from there. So that's your bearish case. But currently you can see that we are, if I extend this a bit, you are above this mid range. You're sort of in this expanding wedge, which kind of is pretty bullish still. Even though we have had this extreme shop right here, and it's a very long sort of consolidation. So if we're bullish in this case, what we're looking for last week, that's wrong. Bullish. Let's have a look at this. This is what we were looking at last week, and we can see it. We did get it. You got it on Wednesday when you have this big flush. You pop down straight into that level of support. I mean that support level, that wick at 94, and then you get a nice reaction to the stop side from there. Still, a bit hesitant on this being an actual 5-wave structure, because your impulse moved up was so quick, and this consolidation or pullback or whatever you want to call it is extremely long. Usually when you do see a impulsive structure or impulsive waves, you usually see a sort of a push up. You do get some sort of consolidation here, but it's not too long. It's usually like 3 times bigger than the maximum, sort of usually say 3 times bigger than the move up, and this is way bigger than that. So this is more likely right now to be an ABC. And that means we're looking at this as an A, you're looking at this as B, and you're looking for a C wave towards the upside still. Even if it's a potential, could still be a 1, 2, 3, and you look for 4, 5, could still be a possibility. But how I'm looking at it currently is I am more expecting a ABC, a 3-wave correction here towards the upside, and then a pushback, then a actual impulsive structure towards the upside here. So just based off that, we can look at this, and we can set some targets. I'm going to remove those ABC stuff from last week. That's not the wrong thing. That was this. So we can see we are sorry, we are above mid-range, so that's bullish still. We can look at this structure here, and we can see it's very 3-wavy. So that's like a 3-wave right there, because you did not get a push up and 4, 5. So currently I'm looking at this as a 3-wave as a potential A. Look at this as a 3-wave as a potential B, and then find a support somewhere in this zone, and then we look for a push towards the upside as in a 5-wave structure as a potential C wave. So that's something I am currently keeping an eye on. So I want to get into a long here. Now B, if this is a B wave, it's very difficult to trade. So because it can, a B wave can go all the way back down here. It could take out the lows, bounce off this mid range, then come back up and take out the high of A. So there are a few possibilities we have to look at here. So I'm initially looking back at these support levels back here. I have a few nice confluences regarding this zone. I mean, we can see it's been a zone that we have bounced off multiple times previously. Can expand that a bit. So that's one of our support zones. We can use some fibs here. We use it right from the lows to the highs. I have to remove some stuff so I can actually see the highs. We throw on the 786 fib and the 618. You can see that we have it's right in between that golden pocket. We do have this wick here, which is we do have some liquidity below here, and we do have liquidity below here. So those are going to be my interest zones right now. If we have a look at this, I'm gonna remove some stuff. So I want to see a reaction. So if you take out this liquidity here, Watch the reaction of the 618. Golden pocket right there. Take some fibs from the lows to the highs here. See how things look here. 786, 886. Yeah, so you would like to see a reaction here for that bullish momentum to catch on. If you do start pushing lower here into the 886, you are more likely to come back down and sweep this low, tap into the 786, and that's where we could be looking for long. So I mean, those are basically different sort of scenarios. You could be taking this as with a very tight stop loss, and then start targeting into highs. I will add some fibs here to see what type of C targets, if this is a C wave that we're looking to catch. We could get in. Then we have the 786, which is my second potential entry. I would like to see an SFP. So only wick into the 786, SFP, the low back here. Basically, you wick down into it, you sweep it, and you close your candle above. That's what you would like to see. That way you can protect your capital very easily. Set your stop loss below that wick, whatever happens when we get there. And then we start targeting back into the highs of A. That would be your initial target. Right into there. And then I'm gonna remove some stuff here. Okay, like that. So something like that. And then of course a third option will be that we do take out the lows all the way back down here. We do have a higher time from 786, which I would be looking at. I do still have my bid down there from previous weeks, because we did front run it. So I was looking to get it filled here at the 786 right here. You see we wicked, but we did not reach quite into it. So sort of the best case scenario, actually, what I'm looking at would be that we do come down here, take out the lows, then you have taken out the highs, you take out the lows, you have cleared both sides of the market, and then you do get a SFP or a push up here, basically forming a higher low, and then a push back into the highs of A at 98.7. So that's where I would have my third potential setup. Back into the highs. and as for C target, yeah, we can use some fibs. I mean, we don't know how far this B wave, which we're likely currently in, is going to push us, but we can speculate a bit. If we take fib extensions from the low where the move started to the high of A, and we take it back to the 786. So that's going to be my second scenario here. So let's say price does reach down here. We have to update this when price actually does come down. Your common target is going to be for a C wave. It's going to be the 1-to-1. That's going to be your first common target. So that would be 99.8 if price does push down into these sort of levels. If you do push lower, you're going to have to move the fibs with that. So if let's say do push down into 786, then a 1-to-1 would only be at 98.3, and then I would be looking at the 1-2-7-2 instead, and that would be 99.7 also. So 99 around that 99.7 zone, 99.8 is where I'm interested to TP most of it. Now, bullish case is, I mean, this can push up higher, so this can of course push up in all the way into that 1-2-7, or even into the 1-6-1-8. But that's a more common target for a 3-wave. So if somehow, some way, this is a 1-2-3, then you're more likely to push back into this 1-6-1-8 at 102k, sweep the highs back down here. And if you do get into that 618, then we are more likely to start looking for some more longs into a shallow pullback for more push up. So that's another scenario that we will be looking at for more potential setups right there. If you do push up into the 1-6-1-8, if you do get a rejection before that, then we could try to look for some shorts Shorts will not be easy in this market because a lot of people are greedy when it comes to shorts. I did try one on Solana, but we got stopped out on that. We went into green, but it came back for us and then dumped. So those are definitely the places I'm currently looking at for setups. Bearish case remains the same, that this somehow is already done, and this is like a ABC, but this is a running C. Basically, you do not take out highs. Unlikely. So we are more likely to push towards the upside, even if this is only going to be a 3 wave and we push up into this sort of 1618 and then push down. That's a possibility too. If we're looking at this as an entire C wave or entire A3 wave, I mean, as an A, B, C, and we use some targets for that, then we would be looking for slightly higher than these prices. We take the fib extensions from the lows to the highs and back to the lows again. So then if this entire structure is a ABC, our common target is going to be the 1-to-1, which is going to be 105k, which would line up with all of our previous highs. This is like a big resistance zone that we have to break through before we can actually start moving back into the all-time highs. So that's definitely your biggest first zone that we have to watch. A breakthrough on this would indicate a strong bullish momentum, and then you're likely to push into the potentially 1618. That would be 112k, and then you could be potentially looking for a continuation of that, a 4-5, as that is a common 3 wave target. So yeah, I mean, those are the setups I'm currently looking at when it comes to Bitcoin's local structure. We might get this long quite soon, like maybe in the coming day or so. Would absolutely love to see it. But I mean, not much other than that for Bitcoin. We have to watch a reaction after sweeping this high also. It would be the Friday high. And that basically lines up with our bullish scenario that we did have from previous weeks. Then if you do push up into the 1618, we are looking at this as a potential 1, 2, 3, and this entire structure here is going to be some clutter in the 3 wave, and you're pushing to the 1618. But we will have to wait for that. You do have a bunch of levels in between, so that would be more of a macro move. I mean, sentiment right now is not the best, but that's mainly for something like Solana and in altcoins. But I think Bitcoin dominance is starting to come back. Let's have a look at that. No, not really. I mean, you are consolidating here. You're seeing some sort of downtrending channel. Could this be potentially your first wave when it comes to this ABC correction wave being done, and this potentially being a 1, and then you look for a 2, and then we get a big 3, 4, 5 towards the downside? Might be it. So I mean, I'm staying patient with altcoins and stuff, but I think in the coming months or days or potentially weeks, we are going to get a solid move on Bitcoin dominance towards the downside. I mean, even if it doesn't play exactly like I have it printed out here, but I would still be looking for us to come back into this 48 to 47% Bitcoin dominance. Previous range highs was basically our support before we moved back up. So that would be basically it for my Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, this is where I had here also 7.2. Look for a sweep of this. This is my optimal scenario setup here. This is what I would like to see come back into this 7.2, 7.86. Fill my longs are there and then go up from there. But we do have a weekly level right here at 96.4. So you could just see a quick move down here and then up again. And I've been front run on a lot of my setups previously. So there's definitely that. But if we have a look at Solana, I'm not even gonna look at Ethereum. Like, I mean, I have my old stuff from previous weeks. I mean, this is my bearish case Solana. That is that we are going to push down all the way into this 158, 140 zone. Would like to see this 127 get protected. I would not like to see any type of candle close below 142. Then that would be bearish. But as long as you stay above this mid-range sort of level, you have this 786, which is a common target for a potential ABC in a 3-wave. Or if this is a 1, 2, 3, as a correction flat because you did take out the highs. So this is a bearish case locally, but it's very bullish on the higher time frames. So I would absolutely love to get this because this would be a massive opportunity for a big swing long back into these sort of levels of 300 and above. I mean, just that would be a 2x alone for something like Solana. So that's my local bearish case for Solana. I do have a bullish one also, which does look slightly different, but we are looking at it currently, and I do have a long setup below these lows right here. I want to see us take out these lows. You can see that on Bitcoin, we did get that wick on Wednesday. We did get that wick down, and then we start going up. On a lot of altcoins and Solana, you never ended up taking out the lows. So you basically have these wick lows back here. You have wicks back up here. You have not taken out any of the lows back here. So I mean, this was expected for me. That's why I did try a short back up here. But yeah, you can see it start pushing back down and then come up, stop me out, and then dump from there. So in this case, I was the liquidity here. It took me out over the weekend or Friday even, and then dumped over the weekend. So just give me a sweep of these sort of levels, come down here quite aggressively, and then give me some sort of deviation back up of these 186, 185. I have a stop around 170. I have to check 175, I think. 176, something like that. Yeah, 175.9. So it's just around this low back here. Because just like we do have a bunch of lows that we have not taken out, the same thing goes for the highs. So you have one high, one high, one high. I mean, you do not have the same amount, but you do still have quite a bit of liquidity towards the upside. Even all the way back up here, you do have a larger batch of liquidity because you did just form lower highs, lower highs, lower highs. And this will eventually get taken out. If it happens after this, or if it happens after we get this, is a different story. And just because of the fact that we did on this week down here, we did tap the 86 from the move up here, 86 tapped right here, and then move back up. That did increase the chance that we do come back down and take this low. So I would not say that we do not take out the low. That's why I do have that sort of bearish case scenario where we do push down into those sort of 150, 140 range. So, I mean, extreme bullish here would be that you do come back down here, you wick below, you reclaim quite quickly, sort of a V-shaped recovery here. And that could also be a long. So that's definitely a level we would have to keep an eye on also for a potential higher time frame SFP or some sort of lower time frame break of structures that we can trade back towards the upside for Solana. But that was my bullish case scenario, is that we do already have this one formed. We have a correction wave right here, and this is the low of 2, because in LJ wave theory, your wave 2 can go as low as like the 0.9 fib, as long as it does not take out the wave of the initial wave. So this could still be a 1, 2, 3, but this is just a long consolidation in the 3, and we just start pushing up from here. I mean, your confirmations from that, you would have to see some sort of break of structure. So, I mean, that's going to be your important high to take out, higher time from high, push up, you see pullback here, you want to see that high get taken out, proper break of structure, and then you can start looking for some continuation towards the upside again. But we start off by looking at the local structure, see what happens there. 188 currently price. I have my bid at 186.9. So that's just below the wicks. So hopefully we get that wick sweep and fill our long. I went through my bearish case also, yes. Then we have ETH. I mean, this was kind of troll, but on the higher time frame ETH, there's not too much to the chart, but potentially Adam and Eve bottom. I mean, this could expand all the way back down here. I do have a more in-depth take on ETH, but this could be a potential structure that we could look for. Is that if you do come down here, tap into these sort of 786 levels, 2K, take out the lows, potentially take out the wick lows back down here, and you start sort of forming some sort of a rounded bottom, then we could speculate on this being an Adam and Eve bottom forming. You have sort of a V-shaped recovery first, and then you're looking for a rounded bottom. In this case, we would also be looking for this as a correction wave, which would be that this was an A. I can mark it out. This was an A. This is a B. This would be your C. And after C wave, we start looking for breaks towards the upside here. I did make another post about that. We talked about this last week also. Let's have a look. Yeah, so something like this. I mean, here I would be targeting quite a bit lower. I do have the 76 at 1.7K, which would be into a weekly order block back here. But as long as we take out the wick here, I could see a potential bounce in this zone. Take out the wick and then start pushing towards the upside. So that's something we have to look for also. If we add the 0.72 here, another fib that people use sometimes, and you can use it. It's basically the mid range of between these 618 and 786, pretty much. So that's the first zone we could be watching at. But this is the optimal zone for a potential swing long or spot even. I think anything below the 618 is sort of good for a spot swing. 2.2K, would that be? Just leave some bids here, 2.2, 1.9, 1.7, and 1.6. Those were sort of the levels I would be looking for, spot. And that way you would be looking for this as a wave, you're in a correction wave of a B, and then we look for a C, wave 3, or a C, could be a C also. Expansion towards the upside at towards that 7K. I do think it still pumps. It might just take a bit longer than people expect, and it pumps maybe later on this cycle, depending on what sort of local price action we get. But eventually I think it pumps, even if people do think it's not going to pump. I mean, if we push down into the 7.2, 7.86, that's really where I'm interested. Maybe even just a swing trade, or if I buy some spot, we will have to wait and see. But just that would be like a 3x, 4x back into the highs, or into 7K, which would be, I mean, 2K above previous all-time highs. So that would not even be that big of a move if we compare it to previous moves. I mean, if we look back at this move, that was a 2.5x. So let's say we do get a 2.5x. That would be just back into the highs. Take out the highs once again. I do think we take these highs out. You do have equal highs right here. Equal highs. So come back, take these highs out. If you're down from there, we will have to see. But that would be your first take profit target for a spot trade. If you traded leverage, you might have to scale out a bit along the way to basically protect capital, move stop loss to break even, and so on. But that is going to be the most optimal scenario I can see for ETH, is that if you do get a bit more bleeding towards the downside, and then eventually you get that push up, and this might take a while. Like, this could happen in later on in this year. Like, this could happen in December of 2025 or November or whatever. I don't predict time zone, so but it could take a lot longer than people expect it to. Uh, so AVAX, I'm still holding my AVAX spot bags, but it's been bleeding. We do see some people catching on currently when it comes to the chain. It's going sort of slightly viral because of the hate going around on Solana right now, and the mess. Everything is just a mess right now on chain. So, I mean, we can see here there is a small sort of double top here. Potentially come back down here. Look to take out this wick. We did take out the wick here, but barely a sweep. So potentially come back now and take out those lows back there. Let's throw some fibs on here. Back into the highs. You have the 618 right there. It's 24 bucks. So watch that. If you do not hold that, 72786, that will be 23 bucks. So that's the last box you would like to see hold. If this does not hold here, you are looking for a breakdown into these lows of 21. Potentially back into these wicks here of 20 bucks. And that's where I would be looking for a potential move up again. I mean, that's dead. There's not much to talk about. That's dead. Jupiter is moving sideways. It's just continuation here. I would like to see all of these lows here get swept on Jup. I would absolutely love it. You would clear out so much structure and liquidity and so on. We might not get it, but if you do, it's going to be a very good trading opportunity right there into this sort of demand zone. Sort of lock. But just back into the highs even would be 134% move. So I mean, so that would be absolutely beautiful if we do get it. But right now it's just consolidating this. I haven't traded this in a while. I will not touch it here either. You give me a sweep or something proper structure wise that shows me this is the bottom, then I can look for longs again. Until then, I wait. I'd rather just sit on some spot bags for Jupiter than actually try to trade. I mean, it's been a mess, that's for sure. So there's that. Wormhole is holding on, trying to at least have a small deviation here towards the downside. You're coming back, potentially come back, retest, and then go. Watching that for a higher low. Unsure if this how high this actually goes. So I would be watching into this value area. Low right here, 786, 0.21. That would be a potential long trade right there. And then, of course, into this zone that we do have sort of a trend. With an uptrend, we broke down. You would be looking for us to retest this sort of mid-trend here. Potentially break down back again, make a higher low on the higher time frames, and then push back up. Or just break down here from there. That's always a potential scenario. So we look at some total market caps. I mean, we can see here strong low. Like this low has been holding on very strong. This looks more like this Bitcoin chart. It's holding up quite well still. Same thing goes for Bitcoin in here. We are looking for this sort of levels to hold. Come back there and here, start for pushing towards the upside again. You did take out the lows down here. You did also weak down here, which is interesting. When was that? That was Wednesday. This was already on Sunday. So if I take fibs from that, you did tap the 886. So there is a chance that everything just breaks down and we take out these lows right here. But I'm favoring more upside still before we actually do take out those local lows. I think some alts can do it, take out the local lows, but I do think Bitcoin remains pretty strong going into next week for a push up. How high up, we don't know. It could push up to 105k, then dump back down to 85k, and then go to 125k. Like that would be an absolute mess for people or CT, but that is certainly a possibility that we have to look for and be able to adjust to if it happens. Others dominance, doesn't look great. I mean, it's holding on. You wicked that low, you did SFP it, but like it's struggling around these levels. Like you essentially wanted to hold this. This is a weekly uptrend. So yeah, I mean this weekly is not looking the best. You're looking to close below it right now, and we have not closed below it previously. We do have a weekly close today. Maybe just a deviation. Maybe this is your bottom right here, and you start pushing up and going into next week. You could see that. I'm a bit optimistic though. But we'll be watching. So if Bitcoin dominance starts dropping, this will go up again. That's for sure. Others though, like the chart, just looks a lot better. You do have a very clean sort of structure here. You have a nice ABC. You had a nice structure for impulse source upside. The question is this the low, or are we going back, take out the lows, and then go up from there? Taking out the lows again, we would likely see what I talked about on Ethereum, where you do take out 2k. You basically go below 2k and then sweep some of the lows and then go back up again. That would be the second scenario we were looking at there. You did get a nice sweep here. You'd start pushing up off this previous highs, as previous lows back down here. You closed above the 786 on the daily, and then you had a push up. You right now what you're looking for is this sort of continuation towards the upside. So if this is a 5-wave structure right here, and we are forming a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're looking at this as a 1, and then you're looking for a 2 pullback. If this is the high and this is your pullback right now, and then a 3, well, maybe not that high, but a 3, 4, 5, and maybe that's your first wave, and then you push down a bit and so on until you finish this 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maybe, and then you tap into the 1618. That's something we would have to look for also. I would love to see it, but we do have to reclaim the 618 and these previous range lows, which would be 280 billion for some sort of continuation or strength here from alts. Right now you can see it's slightly bleeding. We do see it because after weekend here. I don't know how to count this structure in Elliott waves. You could look at this as a 1, 2, well, I don't know, even 1, 2, 3. But that looks like a 3-way structure, so that can't be a C either, so doesn't make sense. But just have to stick to simple demand and support zones at a higher time frame when it comes to Elliott waves right now, because of how choppy our markets are. Simple is just working the best when it comes to local ranges. Use some basic trend lines and so on. But yeah, look for us to sort of find the bottom here, curve up, reclaim that previous high, 280 billion, 618. Then we can start looking back into this mid-range and this mid-range at 340 to 300 billion. Total market cap. I mean, this was an interesting one. I looked about at last week. Is that every time? So this trend line is all the way back from 2018. That every time we broke below it, it has been a good buying opportunity. So this is total market cap excluding Bitcoin. Back in 2020, we dropped below it, and that was a very good buy. That was the low, and you start pushing up. Back in 2023, that was the low again. You start pushing up from there. Then we have 2024 September, which was also the low, and then we started break up from there, and now we are back at it again. We are below the trend line, and it's February of 2025. So you could spend some more time in here, but overall, this zone has been a good buying opportunities that have paid off very good over the long term. We can see that has now been 1, 2, 3. This would be the fourth time right here. And that's also a potential. We can look at this as a potential cup and forming a handle right now. A cup and handle is only confirmed once you actually break the neckline or the sort of resistance here. So that would be a speculation in a cup and handle, but I would still be looking at it. Unlikely that this is a double top because of this local structure. So I just have to wait and see here for that push up, if it once again does work and if it does pay off. I would like to see us hold above that to 1.13 previous range lows, range highs, and so on. You could expand this zone slightly, and it would be more slightly bigger zone, around 1 trillion. So could still see a 17% dump ish, but likely still does pay off in the long term. Like we did see back in March of 2020, we did get quite a dump in there. That would have 47% dump, which was pretty big. But after that, these have been sort of majors, 23, 26, and right now the biggest one we've had was 22. Yeah, so I think opportunities are there, especially for altcoins. You just gotta pick. You gotta be picky. You can't buy everything. Pick the strong coins, because they likely stay strong in the future also. Let's have a look at CAS. As we see that as a request. Because we did look at this last week also, and it is finding some ground again. So that's good. But what you would like to see to not get a potential fake out here is that you would like to see an actual sort of a strong momentum here towards the upside to confirm that this is a proper reclaim. Potentially as use something like basic as a trend line here. Look first to break this trend line or higher time frame candles, and then you can look for a pullback, and that's where you can start looking for continuation moves towards the upside. And that confirms that this was only a deviation, and we're still back inside of this previous range at the highs that we're currently at. That's a pretty big range, but it has been consistent over a longer term, like that since November 2023 even. So that does go up if Bitcoin dominance starts coming down. That's on that 3-day. So we can look at local RSI here. We can see that we did not form any bullish divs. 3-day. We do have bullish divs on the 3 days. You can see that we did make lower lows right here. But on the RSI, we made higher lows. So that's very bullish actually on the higher time frames. I don't think we have ever had a 3-day bullish divergence on CAS. Maybe this is not all of the history. Maybe it is. I don't know. But that is going to be very interesting. It's going to take some time to play out though, but still very bullish. Very, very bullish to see. Momentum is starting to push towards the upside here. 5-day, you do almost. I mean, that's sort of bullish div also. Weekly, that's a lower low still, but compared to price, it's a lot stronger. So we do see momentum currently trending up on weekly, 5-day, 3-day, and even on daily. Daily, or even back at the mid-range, you could see potential curve down here slightly and then start pushing back up again. But it is starting to gain some good momentum. But to actually confirm that you did reclaim this and this is not just a fake out and you get a push back down here again, we want to see volume come in. You want to see a proper sort of a break of structure on the higher time frames, because we do not want to get faked out. But aside from that, it's looking quite good. I have to say that it's looking quite well. I have not looked at any fibs. Let's just use these local fibs. Well, it's not local because it's very. Yes, we tapped this 0.72. we did reclaim the 618. So yeah, I mean that 618, you want to see it hold that. Bounce of it 1, 2, almost 3 times before. Even if you come back down here, you want to see us hold this. And then you want to see a proper push up, and that's where you can start looking for continuation moves back into the highs. USDT dominance is very interesting. Like we did sort of break down here. You had this uptrending channel, you did break down, you tapped into it, you started breaking down again. But it's not really giving up. You do sort of had around the top right now. Like this could potentially just be a lower high here and we start breaking down. We did not tap the 786, which I was targeting on this harmonic, which is interesting. But higher time frame, I am bearish, like daily. Even if you do come back down up here, tap into the 618 or the 786, the only thing you do is confirm this bearish harmonic and bearish B wave, and then we start looking for that larger C wave towards the downside again, and that means coins will pump everything, entire market. So it's and again, it's just a matter of time, patience. This top might be it. Maybe this is the top, and all we're doing from here is currently forming some sort of resistance. You did not take out the high right there, so maybe we do come back up here, take the highs out, and then down from there. I know I talked about this also previously, so maybe we have to look for that. But that's a lower low right there. On the 6 hour, that's your high time frame low right there, back down at 4.2. Eventually, I think this breaks down. I would not like to see it break above the 786, which would be 5.13 up to 5.2. So that's the level I would like to see it hold below. And I do think we do see lower in the coming weeks. Do you guys have any coin requests or something you want me to look at? Good morning, Jordan. We can see that Near did actually give us one of our previous setups. If we look back here, I did forget it about it become completely, but you did tap into this, like you did sweep the lows, you did tap into this other box, even though it's the time is very off. You did get it, and you started pumping from there. But yeah, that's a nice reclaim. You did sweep the lows, which we did not do on most alts, or a lot of alts, and you're holding this at a weekly level right now. So it's good to see. You do have to regain some momentum here towards the upside, reclaim 886, 786 fibs. But you did see a nice local break of structure right there. And now you have also higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So it's good to see that we are starting to gain some momentum on a few coins. And it's one of the strongest one today. It's up 2.23%. And this is not only for Near. There's a bunch of AI coins actually pumping today. So very good to see. If you do break down, we are looking back at the 786. That's 2.7. Potentially the wick low at 2.46. And from there, we would be looking for a swing trade. So that's if Bitcoin breaks down, you're likely getting something like this. And then we look for a swing trade back into the highs. Just back into the highs will be around a 3.3x, which would be an amazing opportunity if we do get it. Link is one I like also. Higher time frames is very bullish. This does look quite good, I do have to say. It did have a very clean 3-word structure down. We did trade this, and then you had a very clean 5-word structure up. So the higher probability setup here is that this is a 1, this is a 2, and we're looking for a 3. Inside of our macro, 1, 2, 3. In 5 waves, 3 waves, 5 waves, 3 waves, and we're looking for 5 waves. So there's definitely some alts that look very good, and I prefer betting on those. So I do have a bunch of link I bought at the dip. So that I bought on Monday or Sunday, maybe even that was, yeah, depending on where in the world you were. That was middle of the night. Fetch, I do hold some still. I mean, nice sharding here. But yeah, we will want to see some sort of structure here build up towards the upside, and you're looking for this trend line reclaim to actually build momentum to come back into the highs. Give us a strong break here, potentially into mid range. Then you can come back down, look for a higher low, and then push up. So that's what we have to look on most coins right now. It's to start building this momentum towards the upside. We are starting to find our bottoms on some coins. Some look better than others. Like ETH is definitely not the best looking coin right now. That's for sure. Say also terrible looking coin. You have to regain a bunch of levels here to actually start building momentum. At current stages, you're better off waiting for a proper push up as an impulsive wave, and then wait for a pullback and get in on the pullback before it actually does take off properly. Because you did take out the lows back down here, so this structure here is invalidated. Dogecoin, I do like it. You do same here. Look for a trendline reclaim. You did reject off it right now, but it's a higher time frame. In a potential 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 structure, I'm still looking for that final push up. You have multiple targets for a wave 5. It could be at 0.5. It could stop at 0.6. Could push all the way into 0.9. Could push higher than that, depending on how extensive this is. But if we look at how long this took to go up, 540 days, we could move sideways for quite a bit in here. Like our last consolidation from the first wave was 225 days. So, I mean, if we're to look at that, 225, that would push us into July of 2025. So, I mean, usually this consolidation is slightly smaller because it's the wave 4, but it's still a consolidation that we have had a longer time structured upwards. So chilling off a bit is to be expected, and it's one of the stronger coins, I have to say, because it did move up 9x, and it's currently down around 46%. So fine. I think we hold this range for a bit here. Would like to see a reclaim to actually build some momentum back up. Initially of this trend line, and then of this range low from the previous lows. I believe that's also fib. Yeah, the 382 fib. So that's what you have to reclaim to build some momentum to come back to the highs again, and potentially break into new highs. I think I am pretty done there. I mean, Pepe we have had also. I've looked at this previously. Believe I talked about it midweek, where you do still have the possibility of this being a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on Pepe, and we're still waiting for the 4, 5. 4 could be in break the high that we did create. That would sort of invalidate the 4, and that this is, I mean, because this 4 could push back even if this is a 4, this could see a 1, 2, 3, and this could push back all the way into that 618.7.5 and still be a valid wave 4. And you get a push down into a wave 5. So Pepe is questionable at the moment, but we have to trade the local structure. So right now it's not interested. Potentially, if you come back, take out these lows right here, that liquidity that we built up, potentially then we can get some sort of swing trade into that dump. Or if you get a break, stronger break towards the upside here, and you get some sort of retest like that, then we could also look to take us higher.